Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Darian and today we're gonna do a little book haul. So the last book haul that I did was back in April, I think. So this is not gonna be all the books I've hauled since April, just because I have not been keeping track of when I got these books. So I kind of just went around and looked at my collection and just thought to myself, have I hauled this yet? I don't think so. So it's just really a collection of books that I have hauled this year that I have not mentioned yet. So I don't even know how many books we have here, but we have a couple piles, so a decent amount. Now, before I get into it, I must address the elephant in the room. I am exhausted. Last night, if you guys haven't been watching my vlogs or follow me on Instagram or anything, I've been watching Grey's Anatomy for the first time this year, and I mean, I've seen a lot of spoilers for the show, so like nothing much has surprised me yet. But last night we watched the season 6 finale of Grey's Anatomy, obviously, and I knew, if you know, you know, first of all, and I knew what was gonna happen, but I didn't expect it to be as traumatic as it was. Like, it affected me a lot, and so I barely slept last night. I got like maybe 4 hours sleep because I couldn't stop thinking about it. So I'm a little bit tired, but I had to film this today, so we're just gonna roll with it. So if I look super tired, that's why. But anyways, let's just get into it because I have a lot of books to talk about. So first we're gonna start with ARCs. So some of these I got from HarperCollins Canada, but most of them I got from my work. If you don't know, I work at a bookstore and we often get ARCs from the publishers and then the booksellers can just take them. So most of these are from there, but the first two are from HarperCollins Canada because I am part of their influencer program. So thank you so much to them for sending me these. So the first one is The Favorites by Rosemary Hennigan. And I think this was, first of all, when, oh, it came out November 14th, so a few days ago. And I believe this was Dark Academia. It says, most students would kill to be accepted into the prestigious law and literature cohort at Franklin University, but for Jessie Mooney, enrollment in the course is about more than elite campus status, rigorous thought, and professional connections. It's her chance to get close to charismatic Professor Jay Crane and take him down. Okay, so definitely Dark Academia. I just remember the premise of this really interested me, so I requested it and they sent it to me. The next one I'm very excited about, it's Those Pink Mountain Nights by Jen Ferguson. And I haven't read from this author before, but she also wrote The Summer of Bitter and Sweet, which I know has Ace Rep in it, so I really want to read that one. I don't know if this one has Ace Rep, but the author is Indigenous. And okay, let's just read. I'm gonna have to remind myself a lot of these synopses. So Berlin, Cameron, and Jesse all have their own reasons for working the night shift at their town's local pizza joint, but when the weekend at Pink Mountain Pizza takes several unexpected turns, all three teens will have to acknowledge the various ways they've been hurt and how much they need each other to hold it all together. So sounds like a hard-hitting contemporary. Also, this came out in September, so we're doing great on our ARCs, but thank you again to HarperCollins Canada for sending these my way. And now the rest of these I got from my work. So we have the, oh my god, why can't I read? The After Pains by Anna Julia Stainsby. This is what it looks like. It comes out March 2024. So I still have time. It says 20 years after the death of her infant daughter, Rosie is still reeling from all that she's lost. Desperate to repair the connections to the family she does have, her husband Desmond and her 18-year-old son Eddie, she's determined to lay her grief to rest. At the same time, Isora keeps a watchful eye on her own teenage daughter, Mivi. For centuries in her homeland of Honduras, the young women in Isora's family have been subjected to a curse of teenage motherhood and the untimely death of the men they loved. But even after moving thousands of miles away from Pespear to Toronto, oh, a Canadian author, Isora worries that her daughter will not be spared. So again, this seems hard-hitting, but clearly the synopsis attracted my attention when I saw it, so intrigued to get to this one at some point. Will it be before March? We don't know. This one, I just remember the synopsis sounded kind of wild. It's Afterworld by Debbie Urbanski, and it says, a groundbreaking debut that follows the story of an artificial intelligence tasked with writing a novel only for it to fall in love with the novel's subject, Sen, the last human on Earth. Like, doesn't that sound a little crazy? So this comes out in December. I don't know if this is the final cover or if this is just the art cover, so I'll have to look into that, but that definitely intrigues me. So we'll see about that one. This one I just picked up the other day. It's called The Cure for Drowning by Logan Paylor. Born Kathleen to an immigrant Irish farming family in southern Ontario, another Canadian author. Kit McNair has been a changeling since oh my god, I can't read today. Kit McNair has been a changeling since at 10 they fell through the river ice and drowned, only to be nursed back to life by their mother's Celtic magic. A daredevil in boy's clothes, Kit chafes at every aspect of a girl's life, driving the same mother to distraction with worry about where Kit will ever fit in. When Rebecca Cromer, an elegant doctor's daughter, moves to town with her parents in April 1939, oh, interesting, she has no doubt about who Kit is. Soon she and Kit's older brother Landon are caught in a love triangle that not only tears their families apart, but sends each of them off on a separate path to war. Interesting. And the author is a queer trans author who lives in British Columbia. Oh, that's great. And this is their first novel. Wow. So, also I love this cover. It's really pretty. And this comes out January. Again, will I read in time? I don't have a great track record with ARCs, so we'll see. Next we have Kindling by Tracy Chee, who wrote, what did she write? She wrote We Are Not Free, which came out a few years ago, I think, and that's another one I want to read. And this comes out in March, so we have time. I love this cover. Let's see what it's about. Once the war was fought with kindlings, elite magic-wielding warriors whose devastating power comes at the cost of their own young lives. Now the war is over and kindlings have been cast adrift, their magic outlawed, their skills outdated, their formidable valor weapons prized only as relics and souvenirs. Violence still plagues the countryside and memories haunt those who remain. When a village comes under threat of siege, it offers an opportunity for 7 kindlings to fight one last time. Ooh. But war changed these warriors, and to reclaim who they once were, they will have to battle their past, their trauma, and their grim fates to come together again, or none of them will make it out alive. Okay. That sounds really good. I'm assuming this is YA. This seems like a YA cover, and I think this author has written YA before. At the bottom, like when it gives the author description, it says she lives in California with her fast dog. I love that. So yeah, this comes out in March. And then last for the ARCs, we have Son of Blood and Ruin. Look at this beautiful cover. It's stunning. It comes out in February, so again, we still have time. This is by Marielle Lares, and it says, a new legend begins in 16th century New Spain. Witchcraft is punishable by death, indigenous temples have been destroyed, and tales of mythical creatures that once roamed the land have become whispers in the night. Hidden behind a mask, Pantera uses her magic and legendary swordplay skills to fight the tyranny of Spanish rule. Okay, I'm just gonna read that, but that sounds amazing. So, very excited to get to this one, and again, cover's beautiful. Okay, so those are all the ARCs. So now let's just get into the rest of these piles. So the first one I will show was one of my most anticipated releases of 2023, and that was Court of the Undying Seasons by A.M. Strickland. I have already read this. I read this for Jan's Full Moon Book Club in August. I think it was August. And unfortunately, I didn't love this as much as I love A.M. Strickland's other books. If you don't know, they also wrote Beyond the Black Door and In the Ravenous Dark, 2 of my favorite books of all time. This one, I mean, I still gave it 4 stars. I still really enjoyed it, and like their writing just feels like home to me. So I just have a special place in my heart for their books, but I think that it was just the story, I don't know, was lacking a bit for me. It is about vampires. It's kind of like A Court of Thorns and Roses meets vampires, but I really liked the main character. I still had a fun time reading this. I read most of it in a 24-hour readathon vlog. Honestly, I probably would have liked it more if I didn't read it so fast. But anyways, I gave it 4 stars, so I would recommend it, and I would definitely highly recommend their other books. I am kind of upset that, like, I think I got this off Amazon because for some reason Indigo wasn't selling it. And then it came like this, so that's why I almost never buy from Amazon. The next one is The Goblin Emperor by Catherine Addison, and I solely got this because Steph read it recently and liked it. Whenever Steph likes a book, I'm always like, well, I need to read it. Like, we all know she has taste. So anyways, what is this about? I don't even know. Born of a marriage made only as part of a treaty, the youngest son of the emperor has lived his entire life in exile, far from his father and the imperial court. He knows little of the rituals of the empire. He knows less about the deadly intrigue that surrounds the government and the court. But when his father and 3 half-brothers die suddenly, Maya is summoned to take his rightful place on the throne. Okay. Some intrigue, some political stuff going on. So, I mean, it sounds really good. I think my brother also really likes this book, so we got that one. And then we have this absolutely beautiful cover, Forged by Blood by Eibor Okosun. I'm so sorry if I'm saying that wrong, but look at this. It says book 1 of the Tainted Blood duology. It's just so beautiful. Like, I bought this. This was completely a cover buy. Like, this cover is just so beautiful. So it says, I don't think I can say this word right now. In the midst of an authoritarian, is that right? Authoritarian, yes, regime and political invasion, Demi just wants to survive. To avoid the suspicion of the non-magical Ages, I'm gonna have to look up how to pronounce these, who occupy her ancestral homeland of Ife, to escape King Sorensen's brutal genocide of her people, the darker-skinned, magic-wielding Oluso, and to live peacefully with her secretive mother while learning to control the terrifying blood magic that is her birthright. So it's inspired by Nigerian mythology. So it sounds great. I think, is this YA? I think it is YA. I don't know. Either way, it's beautiful and I want to read it. I haven't heard anyone talk about it. This came out like a couple months ago, I think. So if anyone's read this, let me know what you thought, obviously. If you've read any of these, I want to know. Okay, so these next few I got when I went to New Jersey back in May. So the first one is I Have Some Questions for You by Rebecca Mackay. And I have read this already. I thought it was fine. I gave it 3.5. I thought there was a lot about this book that was very interesting, but I think it was a little too long. I think it tried to do a little too much. It's basically about this woman who goes back to her high school, her boarding school. She's like in her 30s or 40s now. She goes back there to teach a few classes and she has a lot of upsetting memories from there because her roommate was murdered in her last year there, I think. And then some things about the investigation kind of come to light while she's back there teaching, and it's a lot about just the media and like cancel culture and how like it's so easy to change the narrative on social media, and it's just so hard to have like meaningful discussions on social media. So that aspect I thought was very interesting, and I also had like a very cathartic time reading this, but I just think it was too long and it was trying to do a little too much. So I gave it 3.5. I still would recommend it. Definitely trigger warnings for sexual assault and murder, but I liked it. I don't regret reading it, but I think it was just too long, honestly. Next I got What We Do in the Dark by Michelle Hart, and I remember getting this because it was a New Jersey author and I was like, well, I'm in New Jersey, might as well get this. And it's a signed edition. Let's find. So here's a signature, and she crossed out the title and wrote Do What You Do in the Light. I don't know. Okay, what is this about? I don't remember, but it's short. So that's great. It says Mallory's in her first year of college when she meets the woman. She sees her for the first time at the university's gym and is immediately entranced by this elegant older person who she later learns is married and works at the school. I think we all see where this is going. Before long, they begin a clandestine affair. Clandestine meetings and zone. Okay. Self-possessed, successful, brilliant, and aloof, the woman absolutely consumes Mallory, who is still reeling from her mother's death a few months earlier. Mallory retreats from the rest of the world and into a relationship with this elusive, alluring woman. In the space between aloneness and loneliness, she finds something like solace. Interesting. Oh, and this is a debut. So interesting. I'll pick it up at some point, I don't know. Next I got The Violin Conspiracy by Brendan Slocum. I think that's how you say his name. I've heard a lot of really good things about this book. I believe it's about, here, why am I gonna guess when I can just read? Ray McMillan has a gift and a dream. He's determined to become a world-class professional violinist, and nothing will stand in his way. Not his mother, who wants him to stop making such a racket, not the fact that he can't afford a violin suitable to his talents, not even the racism and prejudice inherent in the often rarefied world of classical music. And then I believe his violin, yeah, his violin is stolen, a ransom note for $5 million left in his place. Ray feels like he's lost a piece of himself. So I can't remember if this is like literary fiction, or I feel like I heard it was like a mystery thriller. I don't know, but I've heard really good things about it, so there we go. Then I got Violetta by Isabel Allende, and I've heard amazing things about this author. She is quite popular. I believe she writes historical fiction and usually with romance. Is that right? Violetta del Valle comes into the world on a stormy day in 1920, the first girl in a family with 5 sons. From the start, her life is marked by extraordinary events. The ripples of the Great War are still being felt, even as the Spanish flu arrives on the shores of her South American homeland, followed by the Great Depression. Her family must say goodbye to their genteel lifestyle and retreat to a wild and beautiful but remote part of the country. There she will come of age and her first suitor will come calling. Oh. This feels like a perfect like spring or summer read, so maybe spring, summer 2024 could be fun. But yeah, I definitely want to get into this author's books. And then finally we have We Deserve Monuments by Jazz Hammonds. This was nominated for the Goodreads Choice Awards this year for, I think, YA Contemporary. Is this? Oh, okay. I thought this was written in verse for some reason. It says, when her family moves to Bardell, Georgia on the cusp of her senior year, Avery Anderson is uprooted from DC and thrust into the hostile home of her terminally ill grandmother, Mama Letty. The tension between Avery's mom and Mama Letty makes for a frosty arrival and reveals a decades-old conflict they refuse to talk about. Every time Avery tries to look deeper, she's turned away, leaving her desperate to unearth the secrets that divide her family. That sounds like it's gonna make me cry, and I've heard great things about it, so I don't know. Mayhaps I'll read this soon. We'll see. Okay, we're like halfway done. It's fine. Okay, these I don't really need to talk about much. Fourth Wing and Iron Flame. This is so much lighter than this. I don't know what she was doing. Anyways, I have thoughts. Fourth Wing I already read back in, I want to say May or June. I think June. I gave it 4.5 stars. I thought it was really fun. However, I am currently reading Iron Flame. It is not so fun, and it's kind of making me like Fourth Wing less, so I'm sure you'll hear my thoughts in a certain video that I usually do once the year is done, if you catch my drift. Then we have Curious Tides by Pascal Lascelles, and this one I'm very excited about because it is a YA fantasy by a Canadian author, and I believe, yeah, she's French-Canadian from Ottawa, and I'm from Quebec. So I feel like we have a sort of kinship going on. It says Emery, I think this is like gothic dark academia vibes. Let's find out. Emery might be a student at the prestigious Aldrin College for Lunar Magics, but her healing abilities have always been mediocre at best until a treacherous night in the Dovermere Sea caves kills a group of her classmates and leaves her as the only survivor. Now Emery is plagued by strange impossible powers that no healer should possess. Like, doesn't that sound... It's giving like A Study in Drowning meets dark academia meets like more fantasy. You know what I'm saying? And this cover is so pretty. Anyways, so I really wanted to support her, and this was also kind of a cover buy, but this one I'm hoping to get to soon. Then of course we have Swordcatcher by Cassandra Clare. Has anyone even read this yet? I feel like I've barely heard any thoughts on this, which is funny because it's Cassandra Clare, but I guess because it's not Shadowhunters, less people are reading it. Like, I feel like I've only seen a couple people read this. I know Reagan from Peruse Project really liked it, but other than that, I haven't really heard much. Do I know what it's about? Honestly, I don't even really want to know much. I just want to dive into the world, but look at this these end papers. That's really pretty. Oh my god. Yellow. Wow. I don't know. It's Cassandra Clare's newest book. It's her first non-Shadowhunters book, so I am interested to see what she's got going on. I think it's also adult. Anyways. It'll be read at some point. Then we have The Wishing Game by Meg Schaefer. I've heard a lot of great things about this book, and I was able to get it for free from my work because it's like slightly damaged. Like, it's a little like bumped at the bottom, so I guess that qualifies as damaged. But this, as you could see, it's bookish. It is also nominated for a Goodreads Choice Award. It says, Lucy Hart knows better than anyone what it's like to grow up without parents who loved her. In a childhood marked by neglect and loneliness, Lucy found her solace in books, namely the Clock Island series by Jack Masterson. Now a 26-year-old teacher's aide, Lucy is able to share her love of reading with bright young students, especially 7-year-old orphan Christopher Lamb. Ooh, this is gonna make me cry, isn't it? Lucy would give anything to adopt Christopher, but even the idea of becoming a family seems like an impossible dream without proper funds and stability. And then it looks like that author that she loves. Oh no, Jack Masterson announces he's finally written a new book. Even better, he's holding a contest at his home on the real Clock Island, and Lucy is one of the 4 lucky contestants chosen to compete to win the one and only copy. Oh my god. It's giving Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. What if I do like a Wonka themed reading vlog? Because, and well, I'll just read this and then go watch Wonka. Oh my god. Anyways, this cover's pretty. Oh, I need to stop talking. Okay, next we have I Am Ace by Cody Daigle Oriens, otherwise known as Ace Dad Advice. If you don't follow them on Twitter, they are everyone's favorite Ace Dad, and this is their nonfiction book. about asexuality, and I really want to read it. It's very short. It'll be a quick read. I definitely want to read as many ace nonfiction books as I can. Well, ace books in general. It just seems like there's a lot of like questions that people ask and they just answer people's questions. So very excited to get to that, and I just love supporting them. Next we have Stone Blind by Natalie Haynes. This is obviously a Greek myth retelling. I'm gonna go ahead and assume it's about Medusa. Let's find out. The only mortal in a family of gods, Medusa, is the youngest of the Gorgon sisters. Unlike her siblings, Medusa grows older, experiences change, feels weakness. Her mortal lifespan gives her an urgency that her family will never know. And then Poseidon comes. I know Natalie Haynes has written other... Yeah, she wrote 1,000 Ships, which is another book I want to read. So... there we go. I'm so tired. This cover is also really pretty. So there's that. Okay, we have one pile left. Everybody, we're hanging in there. So this one I'm very excited about. It's A Winter in New York by Josie Silver, who wrote One Day in December, one of my favorite books. I know not everyone loves it, but I do. I reread it every December, which means I'm gonna reread it soon, but I hope to read this on top of that one. Do I even know what it's about? No. I mean, I assume, I'm gonna take a wild guess and assume a man and a woman fall in love in winter, and then something keeps them apart. A young chef stumbles upon a secret family recipe that might lead to her to the love and life she's been looking for. That's all I need to know. It's just gonna be a cozy, wintry time, and I'm here for it. Then we have Whisper Down the Lane by Clay McLeod Chapman. I read this for Kayla's Literally Dead book club back in May. I think it was May. And Kayla so kindly gifted this to me. Unfortunately, I didn't love this. I know, like, you're probably looking at this cover and thinking, like, why would you read this? But I'm trying to dip I'm trying to dip my toe into horror, is what I meant to say. But I don't think this was the horror for me. It is based on, oh, what was it called? Yeah, it's based on the Satanic Panic in the 80s when this 5-year-old boy tells a lie about his teacher. It kind of, I just associated. He tells a lie about his teacher. It goes back and forth between this kid when he's 5 and when he's an adult. And his past kind of comes back to haunt him. I don't remember much. I think I gave this 2 stars. I mean, Kayla and Jan really liked it, so if you like horror, check it out. But I definitely want to read more horror, is what I'm trying to say. This just wasn't for me. But thank you so much to Kayla for letting me come on her book club. I was honored. Oh, this is also an ARC. I forgot. But I have The Long Game, very different book from the last one. The Long Game by Elena Armas. I got this ARC from work and I read it fairly recently and I loved it. This is the author who wrote Spanish Love Deception, if you don't know, which I also really liked. But I liked this even more, the Spanish Love Deception. Controversial? I don't know, but it's about this woman named Adeline who works for an MLS soccer team, and she kind of gets into some hot water because a video goes viral of her showing some aggression towards the team mascot. And so to punish her, her father, who owns the team, sends her to North Carolina to help out this other soccer team, but little does she know it is a like kids team of 9-year-old girls. And then it turns out the coach of that soccer team is Cameron Caldani, who is a retired goalkeeper, and they get off on the wrong foot, but then they fall in love, and it's really cute, and I really liked this. And there's a goat and he has anxiety. Like, what more do you want? These next 2 books I got when I went to Michigan in August for Manda's wedding. So first I got Drive Your Plow Over the Bones of the Dead by Olga Tokarczuk. This is a mystery. In a remote Polish village, Janina devotes the dark winter days to studying astrology, translating the poetry of William Blake, and taking care of the summer homes of wealthy Warsaw wealthy Warsaw residents. Her reputation as a crank and a recluse is only amplified by her not-so-secret preference for the company of animals over humans. So true. Then a neighbor, Bigfoot, turns up dead. Soon, other bodies are discovered in increasingly strange circumstances. As suspicions mount, Janina inserts herself into the investigation, certain that she knows who done it. If only anyone would pay her mind. Huh. This is translated from Polish, and I've heard really good things. I know Kayla didn't love it, but I mean, it's one it won a Nobel Prize for literature, so it's gotta be good, right? I don't know. Then we have The Secret History by Donna Tartt, which this is so floppy. It's great. And I read this 3 years ago, I think, and it's one of my favorite books. It's probably my favorite, well, no, I was gonna say it's my favorite dark academia, but I think Babel took that spot. But it's one of my favorite dark academias. It is just a group of pretentious Greek students, I want to say, and murder is involved, and it's crazy. Lots of trigger warnings in this book, so definitely check into those. I never had a physical copy, and now I do, and one day I'll reread this and annotate it, and it'll be a good time. Okay, 2 books left. Everyone cheered. This is the book I hauled the most recently. It is Starling House by Alex E. Harrow. Now, I read Once and Future Witches, again, like 3 years ago, and I didn't love it. I gave it 3 stars. I thought it was very, like, middle of the road. But this one, first of all, this cover, I couldn't help myself. And I think this is like more gothic. It says Opal is a lot of things: orphan, high school dropout, full-time cynic, and part-time cashier. Wow. But above all, she's determined to find a better life for her younger brother Jasper, one that gets them out of Eden, Kentucky, a town remarkable only for 2 things: bad luck and E. Starling, the reclusive 19th century author of The Underland. Oh, another author one. Who disappeared over 100 years ago. All she left behind were dark rumors and her home. Everyone agrees that it's best to ignore the uncanny mansion and its misanthropic heir, Arthur. Almost everyone, anyway. I'm guessing Opal gets into a little trouble with this house. I've heard good things about it, and I feel like I would like it more than, what is it called? Once and Future Witches. So I'm excited to try it. It seems very like fall-y, but fall is almost over. Maybe I'll read it soon, I don't know. But we have this. And then finally, the last book is Masters of Death by Ollie V. Blake. I now own 3 Ollie V. Blake books. I have not read a single one, so this might be a mistake. But this cover is really pretty. This is the Indigo edition, which I think is also the same as the Barnes & Noble edition. But obviously, I don't have Barnes & Noble. But yeah, Ollie V. Blake. She wrote it. What is it about? Oh, I always forget about these end papers. Whoa. Like, look at this. Are there different? Is it different on the other side? Whoops. Whoa. Do I know how to hold a book? So pretty. Is this dark academia? Maybe I just think everything is dark academia. There's a girl named Viola, and she's a vampire. And then there's a guy named Fox, and he's a medium. And then they work together, and they do something. What a great synopsis. But my friend Salma read this recently and really liked it, so I have high hopes. I just have a feeling about Olivia Blake. I have a feeling. So maybe one day I'll finally read her books. We'll see. So those are all the books that I have to haul for you. Let's count how many books there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. 29 books. Oh, I should have found a random one to make it 30. Oh well. 29 books that I've hauled since, I guess, April. Most of these I feel like I got during the summer, but there you guys go. Thanks for sticking with me this long. If you watched till the end, leave a watermelon emoji, and also let me know if you have read any of these books, what you thought about them, which ones I should prioritize. Let me know all that fun stuff. What was the last book you hauled? I want to know all that information. But yeah. I apologize again for being so tired and delirious, but thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon with another video soon. Bye!